So the why we should be familiar with the basic properties of the dosage forms, or why we cannot administer the your pure drug without any kind of excipients, or why we are preparing the dosage form. So these are the various reasons. So first reason is that the drug handling can be difficult or impossible when we are thinking that we can't take the drug, or why we cannot use that pure drug directly without any kind of excipients. Then the first reason is that the handling problem of the drug, because dose of the drug is very small. For example, some drugs are having the 5 mg dose or below that 5 mg dose. So this kind of small quantity we cannot handle alone, or we cannot administer it, or we cannot measure it. So that's why we have to prepare the dosage form. Another reason is that accuracy of the dose. So when we are using the alone dose or alone drug for the treatment purpose without any excipients or without making its dosage form, then such kind of drug we cannot handle, and we cannot measure the actual quality of that quantity of that drug. So that's why it is mandatory to convert it into the dosage form. Then only we will have the accurate dose. Okay, if the dose is missing, means you are not getting the you are required pharmacological action or effect of that drug. If the quantity is too much high, means toxicity may be possible. While taking the single pure drug, then quantity may be more or quantity may be less. So that's why inaccuracy of dose may be possible, and you will not get the required effect. Then administration of the drug can be impractical. So if you want to take the pure drug without any excipients, means administration or the ingestion of the drug, it is quite difficult. Then some drugs are having the problem with the environmental conditions. They may get, we can say, reduced, or they may get deactivated because of the exposure to the environment. So in this case, if you are going to prepare a protective dosage form, or if you want to prepare the such kind of drugs dosage form, then capsule, suppose we have prepared, then ultimately you are you are giving the protection to that drug. So such kind of interactive drugs or such kind of reactive drugs with the environment can be protected by the preparation of its dosage form. As well as moisture also cannot attack directly onto your drug, because it is enclosed inside the capsule shell. Then sometimes we need to stabilize some drugs chemically. Some drugs are having the reactive, or they are having the ability to get reacted with the environmental conditions. So in this case, suppose you are preparing the dosage form of the drug. So ultimately we are mixing the excipients with your drug, and we are preparing the dosage form. So in this way, we are trying to increase the stability of that pure drug. So these are the reasons. That's why we have to prepare the dosage form. Some drugs may get degraded into the stomach because of the pH or acidic pH. So in that case, we have to administer some other type of ingredients along with your drug to avoid the degradation of that drug in the stomach. So for that purpose, we have to supply the extra chemicals, extra excipients along with your drug. Then only it is possible to protect your drug. So that's why also we have to prepare the dosage form. Then some drugs are unpleasant in taste. Some drugs are having the bitter taste. So such kind of drugs we cannot administer directly or without excipients. So to avoid the bitterness or to mask the taste of that bitter drug or unpleasant drug, we have to add the excipients. Then only that drug will be taken by the ultimate user. Then some drugs are having the ability to cause the irritation to the your mucosal membrane, as well as inside the stomach also they can cause the irritation. So such kind of drug, when you want to administer without any excipients, then due to the irritation, vomiting may be persist, or that patient will not able to administer that pure drug without any excipients. Suppose you want to, if you want to use that drug which is having the already irritation problem, or this, it is having the tendency to irritate your total membranes. So such kind of drugs, if you are converting into the dosage form, then we can minimize the irritation ability of that drug. Then another kind of drug are there which require the modification in their own, we can say, structure, because as such, suppose you want to take that drug, they sometimes they may not have the good solubility into your stomach, they will not be properly absorbed. So to improve that solubility of the drug, we need to add some excipients to increase their solubility. When we are taking the such kind of drug with excipients by improving its solubility, then you will get the quick action. So these are the various kind of requirements or the various kind of problems are there. That's why we have to mix excipients along with your drug, and we have to prepare the dosage form. Then only it is possible to administer your drug with the excipients successfully inside the stomach. Now, types of dosage forms. Types of dosage forms. How many types of dosage forms are there? As per the physical form, there are the 4 types of dosage forms are available, like solid dosage form, semi-solid dosage forms, liquid dosage forms, as well as the gaseous dosage form. And depending on the route of administration means by which way or by which route you are administering your dosage form. So depending on that also, there are the different types of dosage forms are there. First category is the oral type of dosage form. Oral type of dosage form means those drugs which are taken through the oral cavity, like your tablet, capsule. Then topical dosage form. Topical means which are applied on your skin, like ointments, creams, powders. Then rectal type of dosage form means which are administered to the anus, which are directly reaches to the rectum area of the body from the downside. Then parenteral type of dosage form. Parenteral means injections or the injectables which are pricked with the help of needle. So they are called as the parenteral preparations. Then vaginal type of preparations are there which are administered through the vaginal cavity. Then inhalation type of dosage forms are there. It means they are type of dosage forms we are taking through the nose or the nasal cavity. Then ophthalmic type of dosage forms are there. Ophthalmic type of dosage form means which type of dosage form or which preparation which are administered inside the body through the eye cavity, or simply we can say eye drop. Then otic type of dosage form means like ear type of dosage form or the ear drop are there. It means that dosage forms we are administering through the ear. So these are the different types of dosage forms which are categorized as per the route of administration. Okay, it means by which way we are administering that dosage form inside the body, that is called as the route of administration. Many people might have experienced number of dosage forms, route of administration. Most people might have taken the tablet, capsules. Many people may have applied the ointments, Jandu balm. Then so many people might have experienced about the parenteral preparations, then ophthalmic preparations, as well as the ear drops. Very rarely inhalation is required, very rarely vaginal treatment is required or vaginal route is utilized, very rarely rectal route has been utilized. But oral route is too much common one. Then physical form means what? Solid dosage form like tablet, capsule. Semi-solid dosage form means like your ointments and creams. Liquid dosage form means routinely you are taking your oral, your liquid dosage form like your cup syrup, suspension, solutions. Then gaseous type of means your aerosols. Very rarely you are using gaseous type of dosage forms. Asthmatic patients are having the pumps. So they are using that kind of pumps, means that is the gaseous type of dosage form called as the aerosol. Then again I have done here classification of your dosage form like solid dosage form, semi-solid dosage form, liquid dosage form and gas. In the solid dosage forms, we are having the again different type of dosage forms like unit solid dosage forms. For example, your tablet and capsule. Unit solid dosage form means one tablet which is having the one time dose. Suppose you are taking the one tablet means one times dose you are taking. So that's why it is called as the unit. Unit means one. It means the dosage form which contains the one time dose, that is called as the unit dosage forms. And unit solid dosage forms are examples are tablet as well as the your capsule. Then bulk dosage forms are there. They are solid in nature, but there is no any single dose like your powder, dusting powder. Everybody might have used dusting powder for your own sealing purpose. So this dusting powder is not having the exact dose. Approximately we are using the dusting powder, but that is solid in nature. But this is not having the single dose, or the one dose is not filled. Okay, number of doses are filled and approximately we are using that. So that's why it is called as the bulk type of dosage form. So it is filled inside the your plastic type of tubes are available nowadays. In that we can fill up that kind of solid dosage form. That is called as the bulk dosage form. Here dose is not fixed. But in case of unit solid dosage form, dose is fixed per unit. Suppose you are taking two tablets means you are taking the two doses. You are taking two capsules means you are taking the two doses of the capsule. So this is the about your solid dosage form. Then semi-solid dosage form. Semi-solid dosage forms examples are cream, paste, gel and suppositories. You might have used many times your creams. Okay. Then paste, your toothpaste is there. Medicated toothpaste are there nowadays. Sensodyne is example for the sensitization to avoid the sensation of your teeth. Then nowadays gel are very much famous. So gel are utilized for the your skin purpose, or the topically we are using that gel. Nowadays iodine gel is available. Then suppositories are there. Suppositories are taken through the rectum route. These are the semi-solid type of preparations, and suppositories containing the single dose like your tablet. Okay, so these are the familiar examples of cream and paste as well as gel for you. Suppository is little bit newer to you. Then liquid dosage forms. In the liquid dosage form, there are the two type of liquid dosage form: monophasic liquid dosage form and biophasic liquid dosage form. Monophasic means those liquid preparation containing all the ingredients solubilized into the vehicle. It means only single phase is existed. The example is the solution and syrup. When you are saying that solution and syrup, you will not find any kind of other phase. Only one phase is there. It means in the solution, you have dissolved all the ingredient, all the excipients completely in the vehicle. Only one phase is there. That's why this is called as the monophasic preparation. Okay, mono means one. Then biophasic liquid. Biophasic liquid means those liquid preparation in which two phases are observed. One is suppose solid phase and another is the liquid phase. One is the oil phase or another is the water phase. So bio means two. Biophasic means two phasic. The example are emulsion and suspension. Emulsion are those preparation in which we are preparing them by mixing oil plus water. So this oil and water will not mix with each other, but we are preparing such kind of preparation containing the oil phase as well as the water phase. So that's why these two phases we can observe with your naked eye. The best familiar example of emulsion is your milk. If you will see observe your milk very clearly, then you will find that there is the water already present and oil drops are present in your milk. So indirectly we can say it is nothing but your emulsion, because it is containing the oil as well as water phase. Then suspension is there. Suspension means what? Here we are taking water as a vehicle, and in that water we are adding the insoluble drug. So it is the mixture of insoluble drug plus water. So here drug will not be solubilized into your water. It will remain as it is for the longer period or throughout the utilization. So there are so many cup preparation. nowadays available in the market, which containing the such kind of suspension. Suspension means here insoluble drug is added into the vehicle like water. Okay, so this is called as the suspension. So these are the called as the liquid type of dosage form. Liquid type of dosage form are two types. One is the monophasic, another one is the biophasic liquids. Now another category of your dosage form is the gaseous. In the gaseous dosage forms, we are having the two type of preparation like aerosols and inhaler. Inhaler might have been seen by you. Okay, inhaler is nowadays available in the market. Just we have to take the vapor of that dosage form by your nasal cavity. That's why it is called as the inhaler, or the inhalation process is there. So for the common cold, we are using the inhalers. Vicks inhaler is there. Then aerosols are there. Aerosols are nothing but the pressurized preparations containing the your drug along with the, your various kind of solvents. And these aerosols are used through the your oral cavity also as well as nasal cavity also. So these aerosols are nowadays or which are familiar for the asthmatic preparation peoples. So this is about the classification of your dosage form depending on this physical state like solid, semi-solid, liquid and gas. And these are the again further classification, that is solid is having the two type of classification or the two class like unit dosage form and bulk dosage form. Then semi-solid dosage form are having the again four types, that is cream, paste, gel, suppository, again ointment is there. Then in the liquid, there are the two categories are there, monophasic liquid and biophasic liquid. Then in the gas, there is the inhalation or the inhaler and aerosols. So this is about the classification of your dosage form. Again, I have taken the broad classification of your dosage form. This is same as I have shown in the previous one. So here I have given the examples. See here, first is the your classification, that is solid dosage form. First class of solid your dosage form is the solid dosage form. Solid dosage form is divided into two types, that is the unit dosage form and bulk dosage form. Into the unit dosage form, examples are tablet and capsule. Into the bulk dosage form, examples are powders. Okay, like fine powders are there, as well as into the your liquid your bulk dosage form. Some powders are internal type of preparations, so they are taken orally, and some powders we are applying externally for the skin purpose. So that's why bulk dosage form are again divided into the two types, that is internal type of dosage form and external type of dosage forms. External means those dosage forms which are we are applying on the skin, and internal means those dosage forms we are taking inside your stomach cavity. So they are the external and internal. Your bulk dosage forms are divided into the two types, that is internal as well as the external. Now internal type of bulk dosage form are your fine powders which you are taking directly with the help of water inside your stomach. Then external type of bulk dosage forms are like your dusting powder which you are applying on your wound or on the skin. So that's why they are called as the external type of bulk dosage forms. Then your liquid dosage forms. Liquid dosage forms, already I have told you, some are monophasic and some are biophasic. As well as monophasic preparation are also having the external type of preparation and internal type of preparation. Some monophasic liquid preparation we can take internally also, and some monophasic preparation which are applied on your skin also, like your lotion is there, liniment is there, or some oils are there, we are applying to the your external type of or to the skin. Then biophasic preparations are there. Biophasic preparation are also having the two types, that is the externally as well as the internally. Some biophasic preparation we are taking orally inside your stomach, and some biophasic preparation we are applying on your skin. So lotion as well as the your liniment, these are the examples of biophasic preparations. Then some suspension type of preparation are there, which are biophysic in nature. We are taking them into the internally. Then semi-solid preparations are there. Into the semi-solid preparation, all semi-solids are we are applying externally. Very rarely we are applying semi-solids for the internal purpose. Only aloe vera gel is there, which is coming under your semi-solid category, which can be taken for the internal type of purpose, or which is applied on the your oral mucosa. So that's why this is the one semi-solid preparation which is coming under the internal type of semi-solid category. Otherwise, all the semi-solid preparations we are applying externally, like cream, ointment, gel, as well as your paste, jellies are there. This totally semi-solid preparation we are applying externally to your skin or topically. Okay. Then gaseous type of preparation. Gaseous type of preparation are aerosol as well as the inhalation. So this is the little bit, we can say, deeper classification of your dosage forms. Now one by one we will see your all type of dosage form. First one is the oral dosage forms. Now already I have told you oral dosage forms are taken the orally or through the oral route. That's why they are called as the oral dosage form. Example is the tablet as well as the capsule. Now what is meant by the tablet? Everybody has seen the tablet. So we can define the tablet is a hard compressed medication which is round in shape or oval in shape. The tablet is prepared by compressing your dry powders with the high pressure, and then for the preparation of the tablet we require the binding agent, disintegrating agent, sweetening agent, coloring agent as well as the glidants. So simply tablets are nothing but the solid unit compressed dosage form. Solid unit compressed dosage form. Then there are so many types of tablets are there. See, these are the different types of tablet. First one is the compressed tablet. Second is the sugar coated tablet. Compressed tablet means normal tablet which are routinely using. Then second category is the sugar coated tablet. Suppose we have prepared the normal tablet, that is the simply prepared by compression. So suppose that tablet is having the very bitterness, or it is very difficult to administer that tablet. So to avoid the bitterness of the tablet, we can give the very thin coat of sugar solution above your normal tablet. It means to change the taste of that tablet. So that is called as the sugar coated tablet. So simply sugar solution is sprayed on the normal tablet, and after some time that solution will become dry and your tablet will become coated with the sugar coat. So that coated tablets will have the sweet taste. Okay. Simply we are depositing the sugar layer on your normal tablet to change the taste of previous tablet. Then after that, another type of tablet is the film coated tablet. Instead of sugar, suppose you are using any polymer for the coating purpose. Okay, like you are painting your walls. So in the same manner, there are so many polymers are available. That polymeric solution we have to prepare, and that polymeric solution, when we are spraying on the normal tablet, then it is becoming film coated tablet. Or simply we are giving the layer on the normal tablet by using different kind of polymers. So there are the number of tablets are available in the market which are coated one. Okay, we have prepared with the help of polymer coating. Then the entry coated tablets are prepared by the same film coating process. Here difference is only that whatever the polymer you are using for the coating purpose, that polymer is having the one ideal property is that polymer will be dissolved only at basic pH, means at the intestinal pH. So when we are using such kind of coated tablets having such kind of polymer having the solubility in basic pH, so that kind of tablet will be dissolved only into the intestinal cavity. So that's why it is called as the enteric coated tablets. Effervescent tablet. The effervescent tablets are those tablets which are producing the effervescence when we are adding the tablet into the your water. So this kind of tablets we have to take by dissolving them firstly into the glass of water, and then that tablet will get dissolved into the water, and then that solution we have to consume. So this is called as the effervescent tablet. Nowadays, instead of effervescent tablet, we are having the your ENO as a direct powder. Okay. So when we are dissolving the ENO powder, then you will find, you will see that there are the bubbles will be produced. That is called as the effervescence. So nowadays, such kind of powders we are using for the treatment purpose. Then chewable tablet is there. Chewable tablets means those tablet which can we chew, like your with the help of tongue or with the help of teeth. Simply we have to keep it into the mouth itself, and slowly it will be dissolved. So that are called as the chewable tablet. This chewable tablet we cannot take internally. So in mouth itself you have to keep that tablet, and slowly it will dissolve in the mouth, and then slowly drug will be released from that tablet, and it will reach to your stomach, as well as it will be absorbed from your oral mucosa. Then dispersible tablets. Dispersible tablets means those tablets which are having the very quick dispersion, or they will quickly dissolve into the water. So such kind of tablet also we have to take by dissolving them into the water. So that tablet we have to dissolve into the, first of all, in glass of water, and then immediately it will get dissolved, as well as after the dissolution that solution we can take up. So they are called as the dispersible tablet, or they are called as, we can say, fast disintegrating tablets. Then sustained release tablet. Sustained release tablet nowadays popular one. In market you will find that there are the ER, ESR tablets are available. So this kind of tablet will not dissolve into your body very quickly. It will take too much time for the dissolution purpose, and it will slowly dissolve into your stomach when you are taking into the oral cavity. When we are administering such kind of sustained release tablet, so many hours they will take for the dissolution, and very slowly they will get dissolved. So that's why they are called as the sustained release, means the dissolution period is extended. With the help of polymer, we can extend the dissolution time of that tablet when they are reaching into the stomach. So for longer period, they will release the drug, and they will give the effect of that drug for the longer period. Then after that, multi-layer tablets are there, like two-layer drug, two-layer tablet, or the three-layer tablet. So many times you might have seen in market, there are the tablet having the two layers with the different color. In the PPT I have shown here bi-layer tablet. So multi-layer tablet means there are the number of layers available in the single tablet. So here we can use the two drugs in the single tablet, or any kind of other material we can add along with your drug. So 2 times we have to compress that tablet, then it will become the two-layer tablet or the multiple layer tablet. So depending on the requirement, we can add the single drug or the double drug into your tablet, and we can prepare the double layer or the multiple layer tablet. Generally, in the double layer tablet, when we are taking that tablet, one layer of the tablet will be immediately dissolved into your stomach, and one layer will take time for the dissolution. So for the double action or for the longer action, there are several, we can say, objectives behind the preparation of your multi-layer tablets. So we can use the such kind of multi-layer tablet or the double layer tablet. Then sublingual tablets are there. Sublingual tablets are just kept under your teeth, under your tongue, or it will be kept at your cheeks. So between the cheeks or the under your tongue, such kind of tablets are kept, and immediately it will get disintegrated, and you will get the fast effect from your oral mucosa. Drug will be absorbed. So they are called as the sublingual tablets, or they are also called as the buccal tablets. Then vaginal tablets are there. These kind of tablets are placed at the vaginal cavity for the absorption at the site of your vaginal cavity. So it is, we can say, for the local action purpose, we can prepare the such kind of tablets. So this is the, we can say, types of tablets, from compressed tablet to the buccal tablets, vaginal tablets. Then coated tablets is there. See, this is the another example I have shown you. That is, normal tablet is coated with the polymer. Simply we are giving the coat of the polymer on the normal tablet surface. Then it will become attractive, shiny. Okay. See, this is the buccal tablet, which is kept inside your buccal cavity or under your tongue, or in between or beside your cheeks. Then effervescent tablet administered. First of all, we have to take the cup of water or the one glass of water, and then that tablet we have to dissolve into that water. Then effervescence will be produced, solution will become, and then that solution will be administered by your ultimate user. Then chewable tablets are nothing but your say normal tablets which are placed inside your buccal cavity, and very slowly we have to chew them, and slowly your drug will be released from your mouth into the stomach. Then capsules. Capsules are also very familiar dosage form. Capsules are having the two types, hard gelatin capsule and soft gelatin capsule. When your capsule can be separated from one part to the another part, then it is called as the hard gelatin capsule. Or when after pressing that tablet you feel that it is little bit hard one, or there are the two parts of that capsule, that is cap and body, then this is called as the hard gelatin capsule. Another capsules are there, that is called as the soft gelatin capsule or the soft capsule. When we are pressing that capsules, then we will feel the very soft. Okay. Nowadays such kind of capsules are available in the market. And another speciality of soft capsule is that the gelatin is very soft, which is used for the preparation of that capsule, as well as there is no any two part of that capsule, only single part is there, or the total capsule is intact one. Okay. So this is the difference between hard capsule and soft capsule. Generally capsule is also solid unit dosage form. Generally one capsule contains the one time dose. So that's why they are also called as the single unit dosage form. In the hard gelatin capsule, only powder type of drugs we can deliver to the drug. But in case of soft gelatin, we can deliver the oils or the liquids also. Then lozenges are there. What are these lozenges? These are the solid preparation containing the mixture of sugar and gum. Okay, many people might have used strepsils, okay, or the Vicks tablet. So in this only we are preparing the your drug as well as the sugar solution, and we are adding the gum, and these are the little bit hard than your normal tablet. Okay, they are called as the lozenges. Then pastilles are there. Pastilles are same as like as your lozenges, but they are little bit soft than your lozenges. These pastilles are also solid unit dosage forms. They are prepared by using the sugar plus gum, and then we are adding the drug. So the mixture of this sugar plus gum and drug, we are converting into this particular shape. So they are called as the pastilles. Nowadays these pastilles are little bit outdated, or we are not utilizing this kind of pastilles. Then after the pastilles, dental cones are there. These are the special shape type of tablets, or they are having the your particular conical shaped tablets. So they are used into the dental therapy. Sometimes when we want to remove any teeth, so in that removed place, there might be chances that microbial growth may be occur. So for that purpose, to avoid the microbial growth and to heal that wound from where we have removed the teeth, so here we can place such kind of tablet which is having the perfect shape of cone or the perfect shape of the teeth. So for the particular period or for the particular days, that tablet will be remain in that cavity, and it will avoid the microbial growth, as well as it will provide the pain killers, and it will avoid the such kind of problems. So they are called as the dental cones. Basically these dental cones are nothing but your tablets, but having the shape of cone. That's why they are called as the dental cones. Then pills. Pills are the oral dosage form which consist of spherical mass. Okay, so they are called as the pills. So nowadays these pills are also outdated one. Then granules are there. So simply suppose you want to prepare the your granules without preparation of the tablet. So instead of preparation of the tablets, we can prepare the granules also. So there are so many capsules in the market. You will see that they are transparent capsule containing the spherical balls. So they are called as the granules. So generally, when we are preparing the tablets, so prior to preparation of that tablet, we require the excipients and the drugs. So that excipients and drugs, we are preparing converting them into the small granules, and then from that granules we are preparing the tablet. So we suppose we have not prepared the tablet and we have utilized that granules itself, then that type of preparations are called as the granules. Granules are nowadays also available into the sachet form. Generally, when we want to utilize the granules, then we have to administer that granules into the 1 cup of water, and then we can utilize that granules. So these are the spherical type of preparations. Okay. Then powders. Powders are bulk dosage forms. Okay. These powders we can take internally also as well as the externally also. Those powders which are taken internally, okay, they are called as the bulk internal powders. And those powders which are applied externally, they are called as the bulk external powders. Then liquids, liquid type of dosage forms. Generally, liquid preparations are having the different types like biophasic as well as the monophasic. Now, I am showing directly examples of that liquid preparation. The first example is the elixir. Many people might have seen the elixirs. These are the monophasic type of preparations. Elixirs are monophasic liquid preparation in which we are using the alcohol and water. Okay, alcohol and water, and sometimes we may add the sugar, and we are adding the drugs, and then that type of preparation we are using for the your treatment purpose. So they are called as the elixir. See here, your elixirs are prepared by using the alcohol and water. Then another example is the syrups. These syrups are nothing but the sugar solutions. Here we are using the large concentration of sugar. For example, 66.7 gram of sugar we are adding into the 100 ml of water. Then that kind of sugar solution we are using as a syrup. Along with your syrup, we can provide the number of drugs. Okay, like cup syrups are there. Then solutions. Solutions are the homogeneous type of preparations or the monophasic type of preparation in which we are most of using the water as a vehicle, and in that water we are adding the number of drugs. So that drug should be soluble in that water. Then it will form the single phase. So there's such kind of solutions nowadays we are utilizing in the treatment purpose. Then emulsions are there. These are also example of liquid dosage form. Emulsions are the two-phasic preparation or the biophasic preparation. We are preparing them by using the oil plus water. Then suspensions are there. Suspension are biophasic type of liquids in which we are preparing suspension by using the drug as well as the water. So these suspensions are prepared by using the insoluble drugs. Insoluble drugs we are adding into the vehicle, and then that type of preparation are called as the suspension. So in the suspension, your drug should not be soluble into your vehicle. For example, suppose you have taken the paracetamol and water, and we have added that drug into the water, and just we have prepared the suspension. Then that suspension in which you have added the drug, that should not be solubilized into that vehicle or in that water. Then only it is called as the suspension. Then again, your liquid preparation can have the different types of category like solution, emulsion as well as the suspension. So depending on your route of action, route of utilization, Then also we are having the different classes of the your liquid preparation like oral solution, oral emulsion, and oral suspension. Oral solution means those solutions we are administering to the oral cavity inside the body, or the in stomach we are administering them to from the your oral route. So that's why they are called as the oral solution. And the same for the your oral emulsion and oral suspension. Then syrups are there. Syrups are also taken through the orally, as well as elixir are also taken through the orally. Linctuses is there. Linctuses are also viscous type of liquid preparation. Generally, linctuses is the base we are using for the preparation of the your linctuses. So in the linctus, we are using the water as well as the your glycerin, and then we are adding the your any kind of drug, and then we are using them internally, like for the cup preparation purpose we are using the linctuses. Then oral drops are there. Everybody is, we can say, familiar with the oral drops. Okay, for the child purpose we are preparing the oral drops. Why they are called as oral drops? Because the dose of that preparation is in the drops. So number of drops we have to count. So that's why they are called as the oral drops. Generally 2 drops or 3 drops are utilized. As well as the drug which are using into the drops are very concentrated one, because very small dose is required. Into the drops we have to provide the dose. Then gargles are there. Gargles are also liquid preparations. Generally these gargles are utilized for the gargling purpose. Some people are having the throat problems. Okay, like coughing is there. Okay, or in common cold we are having the itching of the your oral cavity. So in that case we can use the gargles. As well as sometimes suppose we are taking the treatment of the tooth, so in that case also we require the such kind of gargles. Generally these are the aqueous solutions utilized for the treatment of the throat infection or the throat cavity purpose. So such kind of gargles when we want to utilize, then along with the water we have to take that gargles and we have to make the gargling action inside your throat cavity, and we have to throw out it. So these gargles we are using for the rinsing of your mouth only. So these gargles should not be taken or swollen inside your stomach. So when we are gargling, after that we have to throw out it. Then mouthwashes are there. As like as gargles, mouthwashes are also utilized for the rinsing of your mouth cavity only. Generally mouthwashes are utilized when there is the problems in the mouth cavity, when there is a bad odor of your teeth, when there is the decay of your tooth, or sometimes your treatment of tooth is started. So in this case, to avoid the bad smell of your mouth, we can use the mouth washes, or simply to wash your oral cavity we are having the mouth washes. So these are the liquid preparations we are utilizing along with your normal water. Just we have to rinse your mouth and we have to throw out these preparations. Then ointments are there. Ointments are very much familiar to all of you. Iodex is the one common ointment. So everybody might have utilized that ointment. So these are the semi-solid preparations, greasy in nature, which are applied on your topical area or on your skin. Generally at the affected part, like sometimes swelling is there, okay, or the pain is there. On that area, we are applying the ointments. Then creams are there. Creams are also familiar to everyone. These creams are semi-solid preparation or the semi-solid emulsions. So these cream are also contain the water plus oil, mixture of oil and water. So they are called as the creams. Generally creams are applied on the your skin, or the topically these preparations are applied. Gels. Nowadays gels as well as jellies are becoming familiar one. Okay. These are the translucent or the transparent types of preparations. They are applied on the your topically on the skin. So there are so many gels are available in the market. Then poultice. Poultice are the soft viscous pasty preparations. Generally these are applied for your skin only. So these poultices are when applied, generally they will form the thick layer on your skin after the sometimes. So your cricket players, most probably from the England side or from the cold areas, when these kind of players are coming your India, so here they will not, we can say, tolerated the high conditions or the high temperature. So generally they will apply the one layer on their skin. So they are nothing but the poultice. So to give the protection to your skin from the sunburn or from the sunlight, generally we are applying the poultice. Then paste are there. There are the different types of paste nowadays available in the market. So for the cleansing of your tooth, also we are having the paste, as well as sometimes for the application of that paste on your skin, as your ointment. So paste are utilized. But nowadays only paste are utilized for the mouth or the tooth cleaning purpose only. So these are the, also we can say, uh, thick preparations containing the number of ingredients into the viscous condition. Then topical dosage forms. Topical dosage forms means what? Those preparations which we are applying on your skin, they are called as the topical dosage form. So these all the solid preparations are also called as the topical dosage forms. Then some powders are there. They are also called as the topical dosage form. Like your dusting powder is there. For the healing of your wound, we are using the dusting powder. Then some patches are there. They are also coming under topical dosage form. See, this Handyplast is the one patch which is available into the market. Most people are utilize that patch. So they are called as the patch or the films. Generally, when we are applying them on your skin, slowly they will release the drug from that patch inside your skin. They are called as the transdermal patches. Then plasters are there. Generally, these plasters are not basically drug. Generally, we can say they are the devices. Generally, they are prepared by using the China clay or the plaster of Paris. So, to avoid the movement, unnecessary movement of your joint or unnecessary movement of your bone, we are using the plasters. So, sometimes some people are getting the fracture into the hand. So, in that case, we are making the coat of that plaster around your hand. So, they are helping to give the mechanical support to your fractured area. Then liniments. These are the semi-solid preparations which are occasionally applied on your skin. So they are providing the number of nutrients, or they are utilizing as a counter irritant. Okay. So as your lotion, liniments are also utilized for the treatment purpose. Then lotions are there. Lotions are quite viscous preparations containing the insoluble materials, and we are applying on your skin. There are the number of types of lotions available into the market. Then collodions. Collodion is the solution of nitrocellulose in the ether, or simply the best example we can say your nail polish. Okay. Generally, when we are applying the collodion on your skin, the solvent will get evaporated and they will deposit the thin layer of that nitrocellulose polymer. So they are nothing but we can say giving the protective film onto your skin. So they are utilized for the protection purpose. Then paints. Generally, throat paints are famous into the market. So these are the viscous preparations. Okay, they are having the number of drugs which are utilized for the cough relieving purpose. Okay, they are called as the cough paints. Then pressurized preparations, nothing but we can say aerosols. These are called as the pressurized preparation because when we are preparing the aerosols, that preparation is administered into the such container with the high pressure. When we are pressing the switch, they will spread the, we can say, spray. So that's why they are called as the pressurized preparations. So your aerosol sprays are there. When we are pressing the button, immediately your drug will come out in the form of spray. Then suppositories are there. These are the rectal type of preparation. Generally, they are inserted through the rectal cavity or the anus, as well as that suppository can be administered to the vaginal cavity also. See, these are the your suppositories I have shown here. They are looking like a bullet shape. Then enema is there. So these are the preparations generally administered to the rectum for the evacuation of the rectum cavity, or sometimes there is the bowels problem. So to empty that bowels, we are adding the some soapy solution or the solution containing the surface acting agents. So when they are administered into the body through the rectum, so immediately the bowel cavity will become empty or the fecal material will come out. So they are called as the enemas. There are the different types of enemas are available. Retention enema is there, as well as evacuation type of enema is there, as well as for the treatment purpose, for the systemic effect purpose, enema is there. Then pessaries are there. These are also nowadays outdated one. These are the solid medicated preparation designed for the insertion into the vaginal cavity. So they are nothing but the same as like as your suppositories. Suppositories most time we are using through the anus, or they are administered toward the your rectal cavity, but the pessaries are administered through the vaginal cavity. There are again three types of your pessaries: molded pessaries, compressed pessaries, and vaginal capsules. Actually, depending on the method of preparation, we can having the three types of pessaries or the three names given to the pessaries. Then rings are available, that is called as the solid vaginal rings. Actually, nowadays by using the various kind of polymers, we can prepare the solid rings containing the drugs. When we are placing that type of rings into the cavity, generally that rings will slowly dissolve into the cavity, and then it will slowly release the drug for the longer period. There are the vaginal rings we are preparing. There are two types of rings are available nowadays market. That is the thumb ring as well as the Nua ring. So these are the marketed preparation. Generally, in this ring, we are adding the various kind of drugs as well as the hormone. And these rings are once placed, it will release the drug for the longer period, like months, several months. That ring will be there and it will release the drug for the longer therapy purpose. Then dotches are there. Dotches are the, we can say, devices which are utilized to introduce the drug into the vaginal cavity. Then intrauterine devices are there. Intrauterine devices are nothing but these are called as the implants. Okay. Generally, it contains your drug, and that drug will be released for the longer period. So they are called as the devices which are having ability to deliver the drug for the longer period, and these devices we have to fix inside your body cavities. Then parenteral dosage forms. Now what are the parenteral dosage forms? Parenteral dosage forms means the preparations which we are administering directly into the blood. That's why they are called as the parenteral preparations. Or without oral cavity, or we are avoiding the oral cavity or the oral route. Okay. And we are administering directly that preparation into the blood with the help of vein or with the help of arteries. So directly your drug is reaching into the blood. That's why they are called as the parenteral preparations. The example is the intravenous injection, intramuscle injection. Okay. Intramuscular injection is administered through the muscle. Okay. And intravenous injection is administered directly into the vein. Then again, there are the several types of parenteral dosage forms are there. So depending on your injection, or depending at which layer of your skin we are penetrating your needle, we are having the different types of parenteral preparation. See here, in first we are having the intravenous injection, means directly into the vein we are administering your solution with the help of syringe. So that is called as the injection of intravenous. Then intramuscular. Intramuscular means inside the muscles. So in the muscles we are administering your injection. That's why they are called as the intramuscular injection. Then subcutaneous injection. Subcutaneous injections are given by injecting your drug into the subcuticle layer of your skin, like dermis as well as the upper dermis. See, these are the number of vials or the type of injections. Then aerosol sprays are there. They are coming under your gaseous type of preparation. Okay, they are sometimes are called as the inhalations also. Then the types of your inhalation type of dosage forms or your gaseous type of preparation. See, inhalers are there. Many times these inhalers are available into the solution or suspension as well as the emulsion form. So then we have to inhale this type of preparation with your nasal cavity. Then nebulizer as well as the atomizer. It is the device which is utilized for the your nebulization purpose or the your inhalation purpose. In many kind of childs, suppose we want to give the vapor, then such kind of device we are using for the inhalation of the vapor of your drug. So that's why this kind of device is called as the nebulizer. Then your ophthalmic type of preparation. Ophthalmic means eye cavity related preparations. Those eye drops we are administering to your eye cavity, they are called as the ophthalmic type of preparation. There are several preparations are available market for the treatment of your eye. That's why they are called as the ophthalmic preparation. Nowadays, ointment as well as gel are also available for the treatment of your eye. Then ear drops. Those preparations which are administered into your ear cavity, they are called as the ear drop. Basically, these are the solutions or the suspension as well as the emulsion. Form may be different. Then nasal drops which are administered into the nasal cavity.